Hello friends, welcome back to the online classes. Today I am going to take the new chapter, lesson 8, Mijbil the Otter. Okay, Mijbil the Otter. That is a chapter name written by Gavin Maxwell. Okay, written by Gavin Maxwell. So this is otter is a kind of a animal which lives in the water. Okay, it's not exactly the seagull, okay, or seal. It's not just different with that, which is very peculiar type of thing. And he takes this otter as a kind of pet for him. So we'll start the chapter. Early in the new year of 1956, I traveled the southern Iraq. By then, it had crossed my mind that I should like to keep an otter instead of a dog, and that Camafrena, ringed by water a stone's throw from its door, would be an eminently suitable spot for this experiment. So the narrator, was in Iraq during the 1956, and he was traveling the southern Iraq side, and that when he was going there, traveling there, suddenly came in his mind that he should keep a pet, and not a dog but an otter, okay, kind of an otter which he can keep in his room, outside his room in the veranda somewhere, and he can enjoy with him, he can play with him. So some kind of an experiment he wanted to do with this otter. When I casually mentioned this to a friend, he as casually replied that I had better get one in the Tigris marshes, for there they were as common as mosquitoes and were often tamed by the Arabs. We were going to Basra to the consulate general to collect and answer our mail from Europe. At the consulate general, we found that my friend's mail had arrived, but that mine had not. So when he told this interest, this thought to one of his friend suggested that's a good idea. You can go, you can collect it, and these otters are very famous, are very common near Tigris marshes. Okay, there are plenty of otters, just like mosquitoes. So it is very common there. So you can go and get there. So they were traveling to the consulate general, where they were about to get their mail and all those things. So when they reached there, his friend received the mail, but the narrator did not receive any mail. He had to wait for another day or two. I cabled to England, and when 3 days later nothing had happened, I tried to telephone. The call had to be booked 24 hours in advance. On the first day, the line was out of order. On the second, the exchange was closed for the religious holiday. On the third day, there was another breakdown. My friend left, and I arranged to meet him in a week's time. 5 days later, my mail arrived. So he telegrammed to England, asking for the reply or asking for some important letters maybe. So we called for, but still there was no reply, there was no mail from England. So he thought of calling, have a trunk call. So to have a trunk call, he had to book 24 hours, that is one day before he had to book the trunk call. So when he went to book the trunk call, line was busy. Second day, it was a holiday. Third day, again something went wrong. So he had to wait for 5 days. Now meanwhile, his friend left, and he said to narrator, told to his friend that I will meet you after a week. So after 5 days, the mail came, the reply or the answer, whatever the letter was, it reached after 5 days. I carried it to my bedroom to read, and there, squatting on the floor, were 2 Arabs. Beside them lay a sack that squirmed from time to time. They handed me a note from my friend. Here is your otter. So after 5 days, when he came back to his hotel or his room, as he got inside the room, he saw 2 Arabs sitting in his room. He was surprised, and then beside them there was a sack, and in that sack something was there which was moving. So he was surprised to see these two Arabs as well as the sack. So one of the Arab got up and gave a note to him. It was the note from his friend and written that here the otter that you wanted. With the opening of the sack began a phase of my life that has not yet ended and may, for all I know, not end before I do. It is, in fact, a thraldom to otters, an otter flaction that I have since found to be shared by most other people who have ever owned one. So, he read the letter and then asked the Arabs to open the sack. So, when they opened the sack, the otter started running about here and there, sliding and everything. So, he was surprised because he was not able to control this otter. So, this fellow was running left and right and here and there, and it was a very embarrassing for him, and it was his life's kind of a challenge to control this otter. The creature that emerged from this sack on the spacious tiled floor of the consulate bedroom resembled most of all a very small medievally conceived dragon. From the head to the tip of the tail, he was coated with symmetrical pointed scales of mud armor, between whose tips was visible a soft velvet fur like that of a chocolate brown mole. He shook himself, and I half expected a cloud of dust. But in fact, it was not for another month that I managed to remove the last of the mud and see the otter, as it were, in his true colors. So, when this otter was taken out from the sack, since the consulate bedroom tiles were there, it was floor was fully tiled up. So, the otter was not able to move easily because he was every now and then slipping. And when he came out, he shook his body. The narrator thought that there would be full of dust, but nothing came out. But the whole body was covered with mud. His scales could be seen very easily, the top of the body and the fur also. So, the narrator took 1 month to clean this otter bit by bit, because lot of scales were there, lot of fur was there, and in these places the mud was remaining. So, he had a tough time to give bath to this otter and clean him very neatly. So, finally, he cleansed. It took 1 month for him, and the otter was very visible in its true color. Mijbil, as I called the otter, was in fact of a race previously unknown to science, and was at length christened by zoologist Latrogal perspicillata maxwelli, or Maxwell's otter. For the first 24 hours, Mijbil was neither hostile nor friendly. He was simply aloof and indifferent, choosing to sleep on the floor as far from my bed as possible. So, Mijbil, as the narrator gave this otter the name Mijbil. Then the narrator tells that the people were not knowing about this animal earlier. When the scientists found this animal, it was totally different one, and then they gave the scientific name, geologist name, Latrogal perspicillata maxwelli. So, or they say Maxwell's otter. So, when this otter came, few days this otter will not sleep near the bed of the narrator. It always went away from the narrator's bed and slept very far away place. He never sat close by or slept nearby him. And for few days he was just kind of he was not close also, he was not far also. That means his behavior was something different. He was not coming closer to the narrator, neither he was going out of sight of the narrator. So, he was just around the place always. The second night, Mijbil came onto my bed in the small hours and remained asleep in the crook of my knees until the servant brought tea in the morning. And during the day he began to lose his apathy and take a keen, much too keen interest in his surroundings. So, second night Mijbil came to his bed, but he will not sleep. He will sit and watch what the narrator is doing or sit between his knees. He will not sleep. He will just observe, watch the narrator till the servant brings the tea in the morning. And once the narrator gets up and goes, he just walks around in the room. For him, there was nothing to play, there was nothing to do. He was simply, there was no interest for him. All the interest was lost, apathy, no interest was there in anything. So, he was just simply moving around, walking around, or maybe sleeping, or doing nothing like a lazy fellow. He was simply lying down there around him. I made a body belt for him and took him on a lead to the bathroom, where for half an hour he went wild with joy in the water, plunging and rolling in it, shooting up and down the length of the bathtub under water and making enough slosh and splash for a hippo. So, narrator one day bought a bathtub and made a belt for him, so that he may not run away or go, and took him to this bathtub. The moment he saw the water, he just jumped into the water and started playing in the water, sometimes splashing, sometimes jumping, sometimes going under the water, swimming, and a lot of water games he started playing. And he was unstoppable. He was just going round and round, playing and splashing and running, jumping, making sound. So, the narrator was very happy to see this, that he is now a bit active by seeing this water and playing the game what he liked. This, I was to learn, is a characteristic of otters. Every drop of water must be, so to speak, extended and spread about the place. A bowl must at once be overturned, or if it will not be overturned, be sat in and splashed in until it overflows. Water must be kept on the move and made to do things. When static, it is wasted and provoking. So, the narrator learned very soon that otters loved water and they played water in the water. So, whether it is bathtub or even the bowl, in the bowl the water is given for otter to drink. It will not drink much, he will just play with the water. Either the bowl he will overturn, or he will sit on it and splash the water, or with the tail or with his mouth he will throw the water out. So, water will not stay in the tub or in the bowl, it will be all around the room. So, that is what he liked. The otter loved to enjoy doing this. 2 days later, Mijbil escaped from my bedroom as I entered it, and I turned to see his tail disappearing round the bend of the corridor that led to the bathroom. By the time I got there, he was up on the end of the bathtub and fumbling at the chromium taps with his paws. I watched amazed. In less than a minute, he had turned the tap far enough to produce a trickle of water, and after a moment or two achieved the full flow. He had been lucky to turn the tap the right way. On later occasions, he would sometimes screw it up still tighter, chittering with irritation and disappointment at the tap's failure to cooperate. So, 2 days later, what happened? A beautiful incident happened. Now, 2 days later, when he came in his room, the moment he opened the room, the otter escaped from that room, from between his legs. He just went around. As he turned back, as the narrator turned back, he saw the otter running towards the bathroom. So, he also followed him. He just wanted to see what this fellow is going to do. So, when he reached the bathroom, he saw that this otter sat in the bathtub holding this tap and trying to opening it. He tried to open it, little bit it opened, and slightly the water started dropping down. He was happy to see this, and the narrator was just observing, and he himself was surprised and amazed that this otter, how fast he learned to open the tap. and very soon he opened the tap in full and the water was flowing in a full force and the fellow was enjoying in the water. It was not that every time he opened the tap rightly. Sometimes he used to open the tap anti-clockwise and it became very, tight and tight. And when it became tight and water does not come, he used to get very angry. He used to hit on the tap and scream and shout, make little noise when the tap is not cooperating with him. Very soon, Midge would follow me without a lead and come to me when I called his name. He spent most of his time in play. He spent hours shuffling a rubber ball around the room like a four-footed saucer player using all 4 feet to dribble the ball, and he could also throw it with a powerful flick of the neck to a surprising height and distance. But the real play of an otter is when he lies on his back and juggles with the small objects between his paws. Marbles were Midge's favorite toys for the pastime. He would lie on his back, rolling 2 or more of them up and down his wide, flat belly without ever dropping one to the floor. So, very soon, Midge learned a lot of things from the narrator. He understood the narrator, he recognized his voice, and whenever the narrator called Midge, he used to run. Whenever the narrator asked him to go, he used to go. So, there was a good combination, understanding between both of them. Most of the time, Midge used to spend his time in playing only. That also with the rubber ball. He used to play with the rubber ball, throw, go ahead, catch it, like that, throw it in the air and then catch it. And he, with his neck, he used to throw the ball with a great height and cover it. But he used to play. He used to love to play when he is lying down and play with his 4 legs. And he used to dribble the ball in such a manner that even a good football player cannot dribble in that manner. So he was such a wonderful creature with the ball, playing with the ball. He loved marble the most because when he used to lie down with 3-4 marbles, he used to rotate the ball with his belly, and not a single marble will fall down. He just enjoys with his balls every now and then, plays so well that the marble may not fall down. So that was a very good understanding, and this narrator enjoyed all these things that the Midge was doing with playing the game and all. Okay, friends, enough for today. Tomorrow I will come back with the rest of the story. Till then, stay home, stay safe, have a nice day.